Welcome to Amaravati, today's daily global roundup. Each day, we bring you a concise and insightful roundup of the latest global developments, ensuring you stay informed and connected to the pulse of the world. In a recent development in the ongoing conflict in Ukraine, the Ukrainian army has incurred heavy losses, with up to 95 troops lost in the South Donetsk area over the past 24 hours, according to Alexander Gordeyev, spokesman for Russia's Battle Group East. Gordeyev reported that Ukrainian armed forces attempted to strengthen their forward positions and rotate militants near Staumayoskoye and Roundup, but their efforts were thwarted. During these clashes, the enemy also lost a radar system, a quad bike, and a Fury reconnaissance drone. The casualties sustained by the Ukrainian military highlight the intensifying nature of the conflict in the region. Furthermore, strongholds and troop concentration areas belonging to the 58th Mechanized Infantry, 72nd Mechanized Brigades, and the 128th Territorial Defense Brigade were targeted near Urorinoy, Ugledar, Vodinoy, and Staumayoskoye. The attacks resulted in the destruction of a temporary disposition point and a pilotless aircraft control post, further escalating the tensions in the area. Iran's navy has revealed plans to conduct a joint naval exercise with Russia and China before the end of the year, as announced by Rear Admiral Shram Irani on Monday. While other nations have been invited to participate, the primary goal of the exercise is to safeguard the interests and economic resources of the Islamic Republic. Rear Admiral Irani emphasized that the exercise aims to enhance regional security and protect common interests. This development underscores Iran's commitment to maintaining stability in the region through collaboration with its strategic allies. Additionally, Iran's navy is working in conjunction with the Ministry of Defense and the armed forces to expand its naval fleet. Several new ships are slated to be added to the fleet by mid-March, indicating Iran's ongoing efforts to bolster its naval capabilities. This joint exercise follows a previous collaborative naval drill conducted in March 2023 in the Sea of Oman, known as Security Bond 2023, which involved naval forces from Iran, Russia, and China. UK Foreign Secretary David Cameron concluded his one-day visit to Lebanon, emphasizing the UK's unwavering commitment to Lebanon's stability and security. This visit marked his first official trip to the country as Foreign Secretary and his fourth to the Middle East in this role. During his visit, Cameron held discussions with key Lebanese figures, including Prime Minister Najib Mikati, Speaker of Parliament Nabi Berri, Lebanese Armed Forces, ALAF, Commander General Joseph Aoun, and Lieutenant General Aroldo Lazaro Sáenz, the head of Mission and Force Commander of the United Nations Interim Force in Lebanon. The Foreign Secretary expressed his concerns about rising tensions along Lebanon's border with Israel and underscored the UK's dedication to the escalating violence in the region. Cameron also visited the Ryuk military air base in the Bekaa, witnessing the collaborative efforts between the UK and Lebanon in training the 4 land border regiments. He reaffirmed the UK's strong partnership with the Lebanese army. Furthermore, the Foreign Secretary announced additional UK aid, surpassing £100 million since 2009, to support the ALAF, including border tower construction, provision of vehicles, and training for personnel. Additionally, £7.35 million in aid funding was pledged to the Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs, OCHA, Lebanon Humanitarian Fund, and £2.6 million for the education of vulnerable children. The visit builds on Cameron's recent regional trips, where he continued to advocate for a ceasefire and humanitarian assistance in the region. British Ambassador to Lebanon Hamish Cowell highlighted the UK's steadfast support for Lebanon's stability and security, emphasizing the importance of halting hostilities and implementing UN Security Council Resolution 1701 for long-term peace. In a recent conversation, the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom held discussions with New Zealand's Prime Minister Christopher Luxon. The leaders covered a broad spectrum of international topics and reaffirmed the strong UK-New Zealand bilateral relationship. The UK Prime Minister expressed gratitude to New Zealand for its contribution to Operation Interflex, which has provided training for nearly 30,000 Ukrainian soldiers in the UK, bolstering Ukraine's defense capabilities. Both leaders also emphasized the need for international action to deter Houthi attacks on commercial shipping in the Red Sea, underscoring the importance of forming an international coalition to safeguard freedom of navigation in the Gulf and the Pacific. Regarding the conflict between Israel and Hamas, the UK Prime Minister outlined the UK's efforts to secure the release of hostages, alleviate the humanitarian crisis in Gaza, and establish a sustainable ceasefire. On the economic front, Prime Minister Luxon welcomed the UK's accession to the CPTPP trade bloc and highlighted the opportunities arising from the new UK-New Zealand Free Trade Agreement. They stressed the importance of continued cooperation among Five Eyes partners in addressing global economic security threats, including those stemming from China. The UK Prime Minister expressed eagerness to deepen the historic alliance between the UK and New Zealand, rooted in robust security, economic, and cultural ties. During his speech at the 2024 World Defence Show in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, UK Defence Secretary Grant Shapps celebrated the long-standing partnership between the two nations. Shapps began by reminiscing about a historic flight 60 years ago when supersonic aircraft soared above Riyadh, marking the beginning of a close partnership between the UK and Saudi Arabia. Shapps praised the enduring collaboration in combat air, from the iconic English Electric Lightning jets to the current commitment of hundreds of UK military personnel to Saudi programs, including the Typhoon aircraft. The Defense Secretary emphasized the importance of looking to the future, highlighting Saudi Arabia's dynamic and innovative initiatives, such as hosting the World Cup in esports and its recent foray into space exploration. Shapps recognized the need for both nations to work together in the face of growing global instability, with the international rules-based order under threat. He emphasized the UK's desire to deepen its industrial partnership with Saudi Arabia, offering support to develop the Saudi defense industrial base. In conclusion, Shapps expressed optimism about elevating the UK-Saudi Arabia relationship to greater heights, reaffirming the belief that lightning can strike twice in their partnership. The UK government has announced a significant investment of £45 million in the country's quantum sector, with the aim of harnessing quantum technology's potential to revolutionize healthcare, energy, transportation, and other fields. Science Minister Andrew Griffith unveiled this investment, emphasizing the government's commitment to transforming the nation into a quantum-enabled economy by 2033. The funding will support various projects, including the development of advanced brain scanning technology using quantum technology to enhance the diagnosis of conditions such as epilepsy and dementia. Additionally, a smart navigation system for trains, utilizing quantum sensors to improve safety and reduce costs in tunnels, is among the initiatives set to reshape healthcare and transportation. Quantum technologies have the potential to address complex problems that challenge even the most advanced classical computers, opening new frontiers in sensing, timing, imaging, and communications. The investment includes £30 million from the UK Research and Innovation (UKRI) Technology Missions Fund and the UK's National Quantum Computing Centre (NQCC) to develop quantum computing hardware prototypes. Another £15 million from the Quantum Catalyst Fund will accelerate quantum technology adoption in the public sector. These initiatives aim to integrate quantum solutions into various policy areas, from healthcare, where quantum sensors can detect signs of dementia, to energy, where quantum computers can optimize electricity grids for achieving net zero emissions. The National Quantum Strategy, released in March 2023, commits £2.5 billion to develop quantum technologies in the UK over the next decade, aiming to attract an additional £1 billion in private investment. The strategy outlines a comprehensive approach to support quantum technologies across various hardware platforms, software, and supply chains. The Quantum Computing Testbeds competition, supported by the UKRI Technology Missions Fund and NQCC, will accelerate the development of scalable quantum computers, bridging the gap between academic research and commercial applications. The Quantum Catalyst Fund will explore the benefits of quantum technologies in government work across multiple sectors, facilitating their adoption to improve public services and policy areas. This significant investment reinforces the UK's commitment to staying at the forefront of quantum technology, promoting innovation, economic growth, and addressing societal challenges. The United Kingdom's Armed Forces and the Defence Science and Technology Laboratory, DSTL, have joined forces with Australia and the United States in an AUKUS trial aimed at advancing the adoption and comprehension of artificial intelligence, AI, and autonomous systems. Named the AUKUS Trusted Operation of Robotic Vehicles in Contested Environments, TORVICE, trial, Its primary objective was to identify and address vulnerabilities in robotic vehicles and sensors that impact autonomous systems. The ability to understand and mitigate such threats is crucial for the effective and reliable utilization of these systems in future military operations. This initiative builds upon the first AUKUS AI and Autonomy trial held in the UK in April 2023. AUKUS defense ministers announced their intent to integrate resilient and autonomous artificial intelligence technologies (RAAIT) into national programs in 2024. The TORVICE trial represents a significant step toward the incorporation of these technologies within the land domain. During the trial, autonomous vehicles from the US and UK conducted various missions, including route reconnaissance while facing a range of effects generated by Australia. The outcomes will enhance the resilience of AUKUS AI and autonomy systems when subjected to electronic warfare, laser, and position, navigation, and timing attacks, ensuring reliable capability delivery in modern battlefield testing environments. Guy Powell, DSTL's technical authority for the trial, emphasized the need to assess the robustness of robotic and autonomous systems when under attack, emphasizing their transformative potential for all three AUKUS nations' armies. Lieutenant Colonel Russ Atherton, ADSTL military advisor, highlighted the game-changing impact of this science and technology on military operations, citing the ability to deploy various payloads across a larger battle space, providing commanders with more options. The acceleration of these technologies' development is expected to significantly enhance coalition military capabilities while minimizing risks to warfighters. Collaboration among the AUKUS nations promotes improved interoperability, streamlined efforts, and the sharing of science and technology expertise. AUKUS, a defense and security partnership involving Australia, the UK, and the US, aims to bolster security and stability in the Indo-Pacific and globally. Pillar 2 of the AUKUS initiative focuses on enhancing military capabilities, including AI and autonomy technologies, to effectively counter evolving threats while adhering to international law and ensuring responsible AI use. Norway and the United States have signed an amendment agreement under the Supplementary Defense Cooperation Agreement, SDCA, signaling their intent to establish 8 additional agreed facilities and areas in Norway for military purposes. Defense Minister Bjørn Ara Gram and U.S. Ambassador to Norway Mark Nathanson signed the agreement. Pending approval from the Norwegian Parliament, these sites can be utilized by Norway, the United States, and other allied forces. The move aims to strengthen the security relationship between the two nations in response to the evolving security environment. Norway views the United States as its closest ally, and their cooperation has spanned over 75 years. The agreement builds upon the SDCA approved by the Norwegian Parliament in June 2022. The proposed new facilities and areas include air stations, airfields, naval stations, garrisons, firing ranges, exercise areas, and a fuel terminal. Combined with existing facilities, this expansion could result in a total of 12 agreed facilities and areas under the SDCA in Norway. Additionally, Sweden, Denmark, and Finland have signed bilateral defense cooperation agreements with the United States, opening the possibility for even stronger Nordic defense cooperation and bolstering NATO's regional presence. The signed agreement will undergo a public comment period before being submitted to the Norwegian Parliament for approval. Norway's Minister of Foreign Affairs, Espen Barth Eide, recently visited China to engage in crucial discussions with Chinese officials. Eide met with China's Director and Foreign Minister, Wang Yi, as well as Liu Jiachao, Minister of the International Department of the Communist Party of China, with plans to meet Vice Premier Ding Xuexiang. The discussions encompassed a wide range of international topics, including conflicts in the Middle East and Ukraine, the situation in the Red Sea, climate cooperation, and strengthening international institutions. Eide also raised the issue of human rights during the talks. Eide emphasized Norway's commitment to a world order based on international law and rules-based trade, asserting that this framework is essential for achieving global climate and sustainability goals. He reiterated Norway's stance on human rights, encouraging China to uphold its international obligations and address human rights issues in Xinjiang, Tibet, and Hong Kong. The collaboration between Norway and China serves to safeguard Norwegian interests, both economically and in terms of international development. It affirmed Norway's commitment to a clear and predictable China policy, emphasizing knowledge sharing and information exchange with civil society, including the business community and academia. This year marks the 70th anniversary of diplomatic ties between Norway and China, leading to plans for celebratory activities and increased high-level exchanges between the two nations. The parties agreed to deepen pragmatic cooperation, establish a bilateral dialogue on green transition cooperation, and promote people-to-people exchanges. Both Norway and China expressed their commitment to multilateralism, free trade, and strengthened cooperation in addressing climate change and biodiversity protection. They also discussed recent developments in the Middle East, emphasizing the need for a Gaza ceasefire, increased humanitarian aid, and support for the Palestinian Authority. The parties called for a two-state solution for lasting peace. Additionally, the parties welcomed UN and UNRWA investigations while urging transparency and continued humanitarian efforts in Gaza. Concerns were raised about growing unrest in the broader Middle East region, prompting both nations to commit to ongoing consultations and multilateral cooperation when possible. Greece has firmly dismissed reports of sending its S-300 surface-to-air missile systems to Ukraine, with Greek government spokesperson Pavlos Marinakis refuting the claims. Marinakis emphasized that Athens would not compromise its national security by transferring these Russian-made air defense systems to Kiev. Addressing the issue, Marinakis stated, "We need to rein in this fake news, particularly when it comes to the defense of the country and our image overseas. There are no such plans at all, and I strongly refute such reports." In any case, the government has never intended to put the country's security at risk under its defense policy. That said, these reports are not true in any sense. A Greek government source previously stated that no decision had been made regarding sending the S-300 systems to Ukraine or replacing them with alternative weaponry. This development follows a conversation between Greek Prime Minister Kyriakos Mitsotakis and Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky, in which Greece affirmed its commitment to providing aid to Ukraine within the EU and NATO frameworks. Moreover, U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken suggested that Greece consider transferring weapons to Ukraine in exchange for potential F-35 fighter jet sales and additional aid. Nevertheless, experts have noted that the proposed aid may not be sufficient to purchase Western air defense systems comparable to the Russian-made S-300. Last year, Greece had clarified that transferring S-300 systems to Ukraine would weaken its defense capabilities against potential threats, particularly from Turkey. The European Union, EU, and the International Finance Corporation, IFC, the private sector branch of the World Bank Group, have inked an agreement to invest €500 million in Ukraine's reconstruction efforts. The EU will provide up to €90 million in financial guarantees to support these investments through the IFC's Better Futures Programme, BFP. These investments, aimed at fostering an inclusive and sustainable reconstruction in Ukraine, are anticipated to attract more than €500 million from the private sector. The funds will be channeled into various sectors, including essential infrastructure, goods production, decarbonization initiatives, and the preservation of livelihoods. In 2022, the IFC initiated the $2 billion Economic Resilience Action (ERA) program to bolster Ukraine's private sector. Since its launch, the IFC has furnished over $650 million in financing and mobilized more than $400 million to support diverse sectors such as technology, agribusiness, critical trade, and small and medium-sized enterprise finance. The European Commission emphasized that its cumulative support for Ukraine and its citizens has exceeded €88 billion since February 2022. This assistance encompasses economic, financial, military, and humanitarian aid, as well as hosting Ukrainian refugees within EU member states. The Moldovan Defense Ministry has dismissed recent media reports suggesting that F-16 fighter jets destined for Ukraine will be stationed at the Maculesti airfield near the city of Balti in Moldova. Defense Ministry spokesperson Alla Diaconu stated that these allegations were part of a wave of disinformation circulating on the internet, mainly on Telegram channels, aimed at creating public fear. The ministry urged citizens to rely only on official sources for accurate information. Criticism has arisen from various quarters, including Moldova's former president Igor Dodon and other politicians, regarding the government's decision to increase military spending during a challenging economic crisis in the country. The opposition has been holding protests since the summer of 2022, calling for President Maya Sandu's resignation and early parliamentary elections due to the economic crisis, declining living standards, soaring prices, and heightened military expenditure. In 2023, Moldova, a constitutionally neutral state, raised its defense budget by 68%, reaching $1.5 billion, $89 million, or approximately 0.55% of the nation's GDP. President Sandu announced pledges of over €40 million from the United States, the European Union, and NATO to bolster Moldova's defense capabilities. The country's armed forces are also set to receive advanced weaponry, mobile platforms, communication equipment, and drones. Thank you for tuning into Amaravati Today's Daily Global Roundup. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to subscribe and stay connected with us. Your support means the world, and we look forward to bringing you more engaging content in the days to come. Thank you for being a part of the Amaravati Today community.